Hi everyone, welcome to episode 21 of Friday Night Knits. My name is Becky and I live in Midland, Texas. This is my knitting podcast. It also has a splash of Star Wars and Blythe dolls in it, and any other nerdy things I happen to come across. I swear I hung those up straight. That's going to drive me crazy. It doesn't look straight. Maybe, I don't know. It's all going to get rearranged in here anyway. Let it go, Becky. Let it go. Okay, so it is Saturday, June 10th. It is Worldwide Knit in Public Day. So I hope you got out and knit in public. I did this morning. My husband and I went by the farmer's market, got some iced coffee and some scones, and I sat down and knit a few rows while we were enjoying our snacks and the shade, because it's like 100 degrees out today, which is ridiculous. But so let's get on with knitting. I have a lot to show y'all because it has been a month since I podcast, at least, not 2 weeks like I had planned. I just keep putting it off or recording and being too lazy to edit the podcast. But I completely blame that on my obsession to finish this beauty right here. So without further ado, let's get on to finished objects. And as you can tell, I am wearing my Find Your Fate shawl by Andrea and Mowry. And it is awesome. It's ginormous, of course. If you've knit one, you know how big they are. I did block it. Let me show y'all the right side, not the wrong side. So, 7 colors. I did a speckle, semi-solid speckle with my fade. First color being Woolen Vine Blitzed Base in the Stellar Banshee. This boy yarn in Bronze Goddess. Texas Republic of Wool, Candy is Dandy. Long Dog Yarns, Salted Caramel. Lolo did it, Kiss a Wookie, which is a cashmere base, guys. I know I've said cashmere is not my thing. I may be converted, because knitting this was stupendous. After that, I have the mystery color, I believe it's called Yearn, from Alicia Goes Around, that I picked up in Dallas at DFW. This is a superwash merino yak and maybe nylon. The ball band was right here. Here it is. It is, yeah, 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. And it's, I was explaining to someone the other day, they were looking at it, and I said, so this one has cashmere in it. And it's like, ooh, so soft and yummy. And this one is like soft, but in a different way. This is like you want to cuddle, and this is like getting between satin sheets. Don't know the color name on this, don't know a color number. There's nothing on the ball band to give me any information, but it's a beautiful color. And the last color is Woolen Vine Blitzed Base, Enjoy the Silence. So I'm going to put it back on and see how long I last in my air conditioning and super hot heat, wearing this beautiful, lovely shawl. I love it so very much. I can't wait for winter time. Yeah, so that's my FO, guys. I have a faux. I know it's been a long time since I've had a faux, so I'm pretty excited. So I have, what do you do when you finish a giant project like this? You cast on a billion different things. So I have like 4 works in progress to show y'all. Because I was like, done with the giant project. Let's cast on everything. So first up is the Mavis baby hat. I talked to y'all about this, the Pixie Hat. And I got this started for my coworker's grandbaby who was born, I think she was born on the 23rd or the 24th of May. So I'm knitting this in the size 6 to 9 months because I want her to wear it when it's cold, not when it's 100 degrees out. I am using Rowan Pure DK Superwash, and this is just a purple colorway. I don't think they have any names. I think it's all numbers. I picked up this yarn. I found this yarn at my local yarn shop. She had a month-long half-off knitting sale for the month of May, so I will show you all the other yarns I picked up. I picked up a couple for baby knitting, a couple for me, you know. 1 for you, 2 for me, 2 for you, 3 for me. So, yeah, I need to get back on this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knit her the sweater and the hat. Keeping it in my bag from my friend Alicia from D Heart Productions, D Heart Designs. That's what her Etsy shop is called. And my asshole dog chewed a hole in the corner of it. She hasn't chewed anything knitted related since she was a puppy, so I'm kind of pissed at her, but she did this right after I got back from a weekend at the ranch, and I think she was just being a spoiled little brat. So that is work in progress number 1. Work in progress number 2 is with some more new yarn, and this is yarn that I picked up again at my local yarn shop. At least these first 2 colors I picked up at my local yarn shop. And this is with a new to me yarn called RIMU, which is 60% fine New Zealand merino and 40% bushtail possum. This is the natural colorway, and this is Ocean Wave, and this is the Quill shawl. It is on size 7 needles, and I did not write down who the Quill shawl is written by, so I will update that on the screen or in my show notes, one or the other. And I'm digging it. It's a big triangular shawl, DK weight, so it'll be a nice warm shawl. I'm pretty excited about it. It's got a 3rd color, and the 3rd color is called Green Taru. This is it. So I'm pretty stoked about that. That's some of my new yarn. I'll show you all of that shortly. And this is in my Mr. Indigo bag. I ordered a couple of bags from them and some yarn from Amy. These 2 were a kit, and I got this bag. I forgot to put them on my acquisitions list, so I'm going to show y'all real quick. This is the other bag. I went very retro with both my bags from there. Cool thing about Mr. Indigo's bags, he uses magnets, so there's no zippers to snag, and the magnets are fun. They grab all the stuff that I didn't realize I carry around with me that's magnetic. So it's kind of cool. So fun. And I dropped Amy's yarn. Hold up. It's called Retro Turquoise. I just love it. That rust and beautiful turquoise color, kind of a purpley color in here. Yeah. That cracks me up. The indigos are dying. Excuse me. It's a sock base 75 superwash merino, 25 nylon. Okay, so that's the Quill shawl, and because I'm crazy, I cast on a not Find Your Fade. I've already done Find Your Fade. Feed Your Fade. Is it Feed Your Fade? Is that what it's called? No, I've lost. Free Your Fade. not feed it, free it. And almost immediately started this because, you know, I need another big shawl to do. And so far, this is where I've gotten finished through color 1. I am using the last 3 colors of Long Dog yarn that I bought for the Building Blocks shawl, Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, that I hated so very much. So since these were already skeined up and matched, I decided to use them. So this green is Granny Smith, the speckle, which is still kinky from me taking it out of the last section of my building blocks, is called On the Fence. And then I'll use Coal Miner as my last color. So 2 semi-solids and a speckle in my Free Your Fade. This is using size 4 needles. Super simple pattern. I think it's going to have right about the same number of stitches as the Find Your Fade, but it's only 3 colors, and it's obviously, it's got these eyelet rows instead of the center decrease row, which is nice. And I'm just trucking right along. I really enjoy this. It's really funny. I am doing something on the Quill shawl to make my edges prettier, and I was slipping the last stitch, and I guess that got in my brain because I read the Free Your Fade, and it's got a slip stitch at the first of the row, but since my brain had been doing it at the end of the row, I just automatically put that at the end, and it I got to a couple rows and was like, why doesn't have that there? Why isn't that there? And I actually emailed Andrea and was like, what? Is there a typo? And she was like, no, that slip stitch is the first stitch, not the last stitch. And I was like, I'm an idiot. I told her, I said, I don't know why my brain took that and ran with it, but it sure did. And she thought that was funny. So yeah, I'm an idiot, but I'm really enjoying this knit as well. My boss asked me to, when she saw this one completed, she asked if I'd be willing to knit a shawl for our Christmas party as a giveaway, and she'd pay me and everything. And so I am going to knit this at least twice because I want it in one that I'm going to give her an option to take that one, or the maybe the Quill shawl, or I'm going to do a mystery knit along starting the 15th, and I can't, is it Kristen Kapoor's? I don't even remember what it's called. And I didn't put it in my show notes, of course. But I figure I'll have a few finished by September, October, for her to choose one for a giveaway at our Christmas party, because she does some seriously crazy gift giving, and it's a lot of fun. And I may just charge her enough to buy me some really nice yarn, because I love her. And she does so much for us. So I don't know if she'll like these colors. That's why I'm going to knit several and give her a choice. Her favorite color is purple, but I think I want to knit her something to keep for her, and some purples. So that's my Free Your Fade. And the last project I have on the needles is I started my husband's Sockhead hat using the Alliance colorway, and I'm just on the brim still. 4 inches of rib stitch is never fun, but it's crazy orange and he likes it so far, so we shall see. It's definitely hunter orange with that gray, tan, and black stripe, and it's knitting up nicely so far. It probably will not be a super baggy sock head, because I can't imagine my husband wearing a like hipster hat. I'll probably make it to where it fits his head really well. yeah, and those are my works in progress, and I am really enjoying them. I've also come to the conclusion that I hate knitting socks. I love the sock yarn, and I love seeing everybody's socks and stuff, but I am almost afraid to figure out how many single socks I have in this room. But maybe that'll happen. Maybe I'll show y'all on another episode of just how much I hate knitting them. So let me move my notes a little bit. I didn't print them out because we're having printer issues. And so my husband I'm using his laptop with it just sitting there, and it's weird. I can't get it to do what I want it to do. Okay, so goals. Last episode, my goals were finish color 5 of my Find Your Fade. Hey, I did it. I finished all 7 colors, weaved in the ends, and blocked it. So that's awesome. Picked colors for my So Faded sweater, which we didn't start yet because my friend Franny is on a long vacation, and Alicia from D Heart is on a long vacation as well. So I'm waiting for them to both get back, and we'll see who else we pull into this. But I can show you the colors I picked. Where'd it go? Oh, I moved it over here. I was like, what did I do? So I knew gray was going to be it, and I thought about the pink, gray, and stuff, but I'm kind of obsessed with a couple of my new yarns that have teals and rust colored speckles in them. So I'm going to do the 3/4 length sleeve, but I'm going to make the body longer. So I'm probably going to need 4 skeins. So color number 1 is, why can't I ever remember the names? Graphite. Jinx yarn, graphite. Well, for one of the colors. I don't know which order I'm doing them in. Color 2, Holy Crow. Spun right round. And again, the rust of gray with rust. This has got a lot of rust in it. There's not really any teal in this one, but there's a lot of rust and some black spots and yellow. I love, and I like how light it is. This is a new yarn that I will talk about in a little while, and this is Tumbleweed with gray, of course, and some beautiful turquoise and rust spots. And another new yarn Carnival, gray, with rust and purple and some teal. So these 4 for sure. And I think if I need a little extra and maybe some more depth at the very bottom, this is my other Jinx, and this is the Totoro 2. So it's got rust and pink. There's not any blue in it, but green. So I think it would be fine. So those are the colors that are going to be in my So Faded sweater. Stick those back in there. So that's done. Picking colors for my So Faded. Organizing my craft room. I cleaned off the top of that because it was going to be behind me for this video. That's as far as I've gotten. I really need to get in here and do it, but it's taking away from knitting time, which is hard. So my goals for my new goals, have a faux for y'all next episode, which I think should be fairly easy between a couple of the small ones I have going. And so have a faux. Hopefully start my So Faded. That really depends on Franny and Alicia. And make more progress in this craft room, so we can find the perfect place to record from. I don't know if having that light behind me was a good idea today, but I did it anyway. So next I'm going to show y'all what a glutton I've been the last month, but May and June are my crazy months. My birthday's at the end of May and my anniversary is at the very 1st of June, so I can get a little bit carried away, and I'm trying to get these notes. Okay, so one of my first big purchases I did with my bonus from work, and this was the one thing that I was really mad at myself for sure not getting at DFW. And it's the LYKKE Interchangeable needles. These beautiful driftwood needles. I love them so very much. I actually finished this shawl on these needles. If you look closely, well, I really haven't looked since I blocked it. But before I blocked it, you could definitely tell because I was in the middle of the lace section of the salted caramel, and I could see the slight difference in my gauge, but it wasn't huge, and it wasn't a lot looser. It was a tiny bit looser. And I attribute that to the drag, which is one of the reasons I hate wooden needles, but I love these. They're a little smoother. They're smoother than any wooden needle I've ever used. And I'm actually using them in my quill shawl. I almost cast on my Free Your Fade with these, but I just grabbed the closest thing I had. I would have had to go grab these out of the craft room, and I didn't feel like it, so I didn't. So, my LYKKE needles. I think that's how it's pronounced. Next is the tumbleweed that I told y'all about. This, I think I said it was tumbleweed. Anyway, it's the Austin base, which is her fingering wash 100% super merino. And this color is called Lost in Space. And I'm used to tumbleweeds self-striping, and she started doing some speckle yarns, and they're just gorgeous. And my friend Azara was so taken with this colorway that she had to get it too. So it's beautiful. It's so pretty. So pretty. So Lost in Space. And then this is actually another yarn that I should have bought at DFW. Another thing I should have bought at DFW Fiber Fest. Yarn Carnival. And this is High Wire, which is their 3-ply superwash merino. And this color is called Metal Fatigue. My really good friend Allison bought the, I think it's called Fire Dancer base, which is actually, it's like High Wire, I believe. I believe it's the same, like 100% superwash merino, but it's like 800 yards. And Allison bought 2 of them, and it's gorgeous. It may be a little bit finer, I don't remember, but it's a ton of yarn. And she was knitting a shawl with it, and I had a fit over it, and I was like, why didn't I buy that at DFW? And Matt from Yarn Carnival was like, I can get it for you, because she had posted the picture on Instagram, and I commented on it, and she had tagged him, of course, and Anna. So I got 2 skeins from them. One is going to be in my So Faded sweater, and the other, I don't know, maybe my boss's shawl that I do later. Because I think this with a beautiful purple would be gorgeous. The more Yarn Carnival. This is Yak Attack, and this is what I'll be using in the mystery knit along I'm doing, because this is the yarn she recommended, and they had kits. And let me tell you guys, my colors right now are gray and chartreusey, greeny, or teal. So boom, I picked this. This is called Found Gold, right? Yeah, Found Gold, and this is shade. It is 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, 10% nylon, and it feels amazing. It's so weird. It doesn't feel as slick as the yarn from Alicia goes around, it may be because of the way it's, I don't know, the way it's plied, but it just, I want to eat it. So pretty. So that will be my yarn for my knit along. And my birthday, being my good friends, Sarah and Franny, are both in a hedgehog sock club. And this was the color, I want to say probably March's color, or maybe, yeah, it had to have been March's. They had this at DFW and they hated it. In fact, pardon my language, they referred to this as fucking mauve. They hated it. And so I kept telling them, it's not that bad. It's really pretty. And so they gave them to me for my birthday. And it's called Spring Fling, and it's just a, you know, it's a purpley mauvey with some bright pink in it and some orange and some black. And I think it is just too muted for the two of them. Sarah's crazy about rainbows, and Franny really likes like blues and stuff like that. Blue right there, turquoisey colors. So I think it's just not vibrant enough for them, but I love it. I think it's awesome. So I got some hedgehog from them. And the rest of the yarn that I got in is all from my local yarn shop that I went and got some baby knitting yarn. So this is the Rowan that I picked up for my coworker's baby. And if I was going to do the romper, I was going to do it in this gray, but I don't think I'm going to. But I have this gray, this purple. That's the Rowan DK. It's a superwash. They didn't have a lot of colors of that I liked, but she had a lot of the Sublime, which is a baby cashmere merino. It's baby cashmere merino and silk DK, and I got this gold color, pretty teal, and a darker gray. And I will be doing something for Azara with this. That's also where I found the RIMU, which is the merino possum blend that I talked to y'all about from New Zealand. And I didn't keep a ball band. I thought I grabbed one. It was already off. But it talks about the possum being the introduced species in New Zealand and what it does to their wildlife. The number of trees it just ravages, and bird eggs and stuff. So it's really neat. On the inside of the ball band, they discuss using the possum for yarn, the benefits of what it's doing for New Zealand. And so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they're at least making something good out of a bad situation. But she only had a couple of colors, so I keep grabbing that. So the Quill shawl needed another color, so I got online and found a couple more. So again, green taru that I showed y'all. And I have to look at this to know what the other colors are. Oh, or not. This one I think is kiwi something or another, because they just have the numbers on the ball bands. It's a chartreuse green, guys. And then this crazy bright or just deep royal purple that I really like. And who knows what those will be. Gloves or something, or I don't know. But it came in this really sweet little bag. So yeah, can you say glutton? I've been a glutton. And just to prove that it's not all yarn, episode. Oh my goodness. Volume 2 of Rib showed up today. Eric has done such a beautiful job with this magazine. It's done several things. It's introduced me to some really great designers, because I have volume 1, now volume 2. I will get volume 3 as well. I'll just keep buying them because they're brilliant. And it's gorgeous stuff. The book, it is so well done. Man, Eric has an eye. Just, which he should, because this is branding, you know, that's what he does for a living. And he has proven just how beautiful he does his work. So, second one's here. And I haven't really cracked it open yet, but I'm excited to. After I record, and maybe I'll take it with me to game tonight to really look at it. And the last thing I'm going to show y'all acquiring wise is the a piece of art that I got. I found this artist on Instagram during last October's Drawing hosted by Mab Graves, and his name is, yeah, Thomas Ascot. Man, I saw this one. He's got one other knitting one that is really, really cool, but you can't get prints of it, I don't believe, right now. But this one, you know, after Carrie Fisher passing away, I just had to have it. And he actually did this for Star Wars Day 2016, I think. So, of course, it's Princess Leia and Wicket, and they're knitting. And if you look close at what she's knitting, that is the crawl from Return of the Jedi. And it's just amazing. And I can't wait to find the perfect frame for it and hang it up in my crafty room. So, yeah. Because I love knitting art. I just love it. So those are all my acquisitions. I've been a glutton, guys. Been a glutton. Let's see what we've got going on here. So, real quick, talk about Blythe. Today, June 10th, is Homer's 7th gotcha day. Her Blythe day. So, she arrived in the mail for me. I bought her from another doll collector 7 years ago. Well, more than 7 years ago, because I believe she came from Spain. I think the girl was in Spain. So, Homer's been with me 7 years today. And it feels like, I don't know, it feels like all of the time before that with all of my other dolls that it's like she's always been here. But it's kind of funny because I didn't bond with her right away. In fact, maybe after about having her for about 6 months, I thought, maybe I should sell her because Goldies go for a good amount of money. And I thought that I'm just keeping her because she's Goldie. And then my daughter moved away. And when Sarah moved to Dallas, which is really only 5.5 hours from me, but when she moved to Dallas, I needed a daughter, and Homer stepped in, and that's when we did our first 365 project. We've done it twice successfully, I think. Twice successfully? Maybe just once successfully, now that I think about it. And I latched onto this little plastic kid. She's my pal, my buddy. So today is her 7th birthday. Yay! Happy Blythe Day, Homer. And that's pretty much all in Blythe. I have been looking at a website, and so checking it more often. It's a Japanese website, so it's not one that I ever frequented before, but a lot of the hardcore collectors frequent, and that's where they get new releases and stuff. And so I may have been stalking that for some new releases, or grabbing a Double Delacour, the one I really wanted to show y'all, but I didn't get in on the pre-release in time, and now her price has gone up quite a bit, so I haven't decided, but I need to pull the trigger soon because her price just keeps going up. Or just get a new doll and have a box opening for you guys, because I think it would be fun. I somehow skipped podcasts. There it is. I want to talk about a few, because I've finally been watching podcasts again. A couple of podcasts that I've really enjoyed. All new to me podcasts. Main reason they're new to me, a few of them are brand new. So once I can get this straightened out, let's see here. Oh, stupid computer. Ah! Oh my gosh. I just cannot figure out my husband's computer. Why it won't scroll for me like I want it to. And I don't know what I just did. Okay, I'm just going to go with it because first one is Dog Dare, David. It's not a new podcast, but it was pretty new to me. And I binged his in like a day and a half because I've had serious bouts of insomnia here lately. So I would watch him and love it. One of the things I really love about David's podcast is it's unlike any other podcast out there. He's a hoot, and he's showing weaving. I have no interest in spinning, but one of these days I want to own a loom and I want to weave. And seeing his weaving and seeing just the random crap he'll put in them. Well, I don't mean it like bad things. Just he's not letting a fiber be his only thing he's using in it. He's putting sticks in it, and he's not doing always putting the fiber in there traditionally. He like took pieces of a sock blank and just cut it and took that strip of it and put it in there, and it was cool. So that fascinates me. Yeah, so David Dog Dare. My friend Angela, who used to be in our knitting group, but she moved away. She's the one that knit me the really long rainbow scarf. She has started a podcast. She's now back in Texas, and she's in Houston, which is even hotter than here because of the humidity. And she has 3 episodes, and they're just fun. And she's a fantastic knitter. So there's Angela, and it's called Angela Knits. My friend Sarah, who I met, she started watching my podcast, and we messaged back and forth. She's the one I helped with the doodler a little bit, and she started a podcast about knitting. It's called the Dollhouse Knits, maybe. If I could pull up my notes, I could tell you that I did something with the computer. And she has 1 episode out, and it's really cool. It's really cool. She's done a lot of podcasts in the past, but ones where she's not on the screen. It's ones where she's doing box openings, doll reviews, that kind of thing. So it was neat to see her face and listen to her talk and show off her beautiful knitting. And the last one is Brandy V from Long Dog Yarns, has a new podcast out. It's called the Long Dog Yarncast, and she only has 1 episode so far. So good. I stayed up another night of insomnia, watched it till like 5 in the morning. Well, I probably watched her till like 3 in the morning, and then I watched a movie because I wasn't sleepy. And it was fun. I really enjoyed Brandy. I love her yarns, so that was fun. And yeah, so those are the 4 podcasts I've watched here lately. I have caught a couple of Katie from Inside Number 23's new episodes, and I watched her Grocery Girls, so I need to get back in the swing of watching podcasts because I do enjoy them for nothing more than just to see what everybody else is doing and the inspiration to keep going. as far as what's been going in my life outside of knitting, like I said before, May and June is a lot of fun for me. May started out with a trip to our family ranch with my daughter, her boyfriend, her friend Becca, my mom, and my dad, and we had a blast. The weekend ended with me talking myself out of taking baby goats home because I really wanted to. We had 2 baby goats that were brand new that the mama abandoned due to several things. She was a young mom, first-time mom, and there's been a lot of large cat activity on the ranch this year. So the goats are very skittish, and they are dropping babies and bailing. If they're older mamas, they come back. Like if it's their, you know, second or third time having babies, they come back. But the rancher that leases our land has had to give away about 50. And he lost about 60 to a mountain lion that they killed in late April, early May before we went out there. I think it was late April. But she had gone on a 3-month spree between our ranch and the neighboring ranch and killed about 120 goats. And that's just awful because they'll kill every day. We do have some small cats on that property too. There's some bobcats. Luckily, bobcats only kill once every 3 to 5 days. And they go after smaller things. They rarely go after goats, but they will go after newborn goats. So he told me I could take the goats home, and it took everything I had not to do it. I knew I wouldn't end up keeping them, but I was like, I can find a home for them. But I decided that was just too much for me. And I talked myself out of it. I was like, you're a grown-up, Becky. Make grown-up decisions. So I left the goat. The weekend after that was Mother's Day, which was awesome. I went to see my mom that evening and went and had dinner with my mother-in-law. My daughter called that morning, so Mother's Day was really cool. And we had my birthday Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend started with my birthday on Friday, Memorial Day on Monday, so that was just fun. And my boss actually closed on Saturdays, which she'd never done unless Christmas fell on Saturday. So everybody at work had a 3-day weekend, and it was awesome. It was so nice. I did a lot of knitting that weekend and just a lot of chilling out. I did spoil myself a little bit for my birthday. Out of yarn I bought earlier in the month that I showed y'all, I also finally found a vintage yarn, the beehive yarn holder with the fake light. Let me show y'all. I'm stamping on plastic of thing that yarn's been wrapped in and stuff. But I bought this. It's really funny because all of the pictures I've ever seen of these have just been of the beehives. And I've seen them in this red color, an orange that I really like. I really like the orange. And a blue, like a powder blue. So there was a string there, like a rope handle there at one point in time. That's where the string comes out, or yarn. On the bottom, that's a needle gauge, but I need to investigate that. I'm pretty sure needles have changed sizes since vintage needles, because that 8 is bigger than the 14. I don't know. So we've apparently swapped it. Made in England, Bakelite. Really cool. I love it. But it's tiny. But it's still cute. So I bought this one, and I should have grabbed the other one when I was over there, but let me make more racket and get it and show you. And now this one I'm not 100%. It was just if it is a yarn holder, it's not really a yarn holder. It's probably a string holder for in a kitchen, but it's cool and it's vintage. And it's just weird enough that Becky has to have it. He doesn't have a name yet, but he's definitely getting a name. So his head comes off, and when my husband first saw it, he was like, how do you get the yarn in it? Because he didn't realize that the bottom comes apart. Now I can't get it apart for y'all. That was awful. Okay, trust me that the bottom comes off. You can put yarn string down in there. So this is why I think it was probably a kitchen string for, like, you know, tying up your chickens and your roasts and stuff. But his head pops on there. And he looks, you know, like a crazy Italian man with his pipe and everything. My friends are giving me all kinds of ideas for names, but he may be a Paco or a, I don't know. I think he needs like an Italian name. Like, I don't want to say Mario because of Nintendo. I don't want to say Luigi, but he looks like a Luigi. He also, a friend of mine said, looks like Uncle Pecos. So if you know those cartoons, Uncle Pecos. And I think he's fabulous. I just love him. So those were the two things I got for myself for my birthday. And they're up in my corner with my other vintage yarn holder and my ancient vintage wool winder that doesn't work for crap, but it looks cool. So, yeah. So that was my birthday. June 6th is my anniversary. And that was fun. My husband and I went out to dinner. He surprised me with a present, which we don't do presents for our anniversary, so I was kind of ticked off at him until I opened it and it was 3 new Star Wars t-shirts. So, oh, okay, so this is funny. He tried to send me flowers for my birthday to work. He has never sent me flowers before. And I don't think he understands that when you surprise a woman with flowers, when you've never done it before, we're going to be suspicious before we think it's cute and romantic. So, I don't know. He may try again next year for my birthday, but I just thought it was really, really weird. It kind of freaked me out. I was not prepared for him to be that sweet. And we're just not romantic-y like that. Our idea of romance is not that. It was weird. So yeah, that was my birthday. But so when he gave me the t-shirts, I was like, I didn't get you anything. And he said, well, okay, they're birthday t-shirts, just late. So that was really sweet. We went to dinner at Osaka, had some Japanese food. It was wonderful. We ate like little piggies. And then today, World Knit in Public Day and Homer's birthday. So May and June is just some of my favorites. And on that note, I'm going to let y'all go. So I hope y'all go out into the world today, hang out at a park or, you know, a coffee shop outside, inside, anywhere, pull out some needles and knit in public and get weird looks and get lots of questions and maybe make some friends of another crafter. But yeah, I plan on doing that. I'm going to harass a couple of the girls from the knitting group, see if they want to go have coffee and knit a little bit. Something, get out of their houses. If they don't, at least I got mine in at the farmer's market this morning. But enjoy. Bye, guys.